Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. Today I'm coming to you from my vacation hotel and I have limited equipment, so you won't see any screen share of my camera here, just the website I'm looking at. Before I get into that, this channel is all about Splinterlands and it usually looks a little different, but bear with me while I'm enjoying some family time and some recreational getaway. But today we are still talking Splinterlands, and on the screen you're going to see a blog post from a guy named Marcus Wall. He's the guy who founded cardauctions.com. It's a website that you can rent or sell or buy Splinterlands monster assets, summoner assets for that game. And he is a guy who spearheaded a group buy during the pre-sale, which I participated in. It was a very effective group buy, and we got in the top 6 of all purchasers, meaning that our purchase is entitled to help design one legendary summoner. As you can see here, number 5, we're actually going to have the 5th opportunity. I believe we're number 5 out of 6. And so this is a very short article. I just want to share it with you because Marcus here is advertising the fact that we are actually selling the opportunity to do it. So if you want to design your own legendary summoner, you can just come on in here, and for $8,000, the highest bidder is going to get it, but the starting bids are going to be at 8,000 US dollars. That to me feels like a really amazingly low price, because keep in mind, not only are you designing a legendary summoner for an amazing blockchain-based video game that is, just beginning its meteoric rise, in my opinion, but just think about it from the perspective of you're going to be involved on not just the card design from an artistic perspective, but also apparently narrative, lore, story, all of it. According to the AMA that was today, November 26th, they want to incorporate all of your thoughts on that. And they really want the creators to come prepared with thoughts, ideas, and hopes and dreams about what that's going to be. So that's exciting. And I think for $8,000, it's a great price. It's an auction, so the highest bidder will get it. I don't think it'll go for the 8,000. I think it'll sell for way more than that. And as a investor in this group buy, I would eventually be entitled to a proportion of that earning. So I am doing this from a self-interested standpoint, but I do think nevertheless, I really do believe that this is something that most people that love this game are gonna think this is an exciting thing. So if that's you, and if you've got thousands of dollars that you're willing to spend on that sort of fun and creation opportunity, then check it out. You just want to go over to the Discord, and you can start a conversation with Marcus directly. He's a great guy. He's made his time available to me. He sat down with me for about 45 minutes the other day to talk about his pre-sale event, and then now I really wanted to just go the next step and share his article here and say, if you have any interest in making your own card, this is a great opportunity. And I wanted to use that opportunity to actually leapfrog into some of the conversations around the AMA today. You guys will know that there was a Splinterlands Townhall, and Townhall is the new name for what we used to call AMA, Ask Me Anything, for Splinterlands every Friday. And this week they talked about a number of things, but the topics that we're going to talk about moving forward is going to be my summary of what I heard them share. And it's going to go under 4 different headings. Nate, Hardpoint, Aggroed, and Chatter were the 4 main speakers that I want to cite or share what they had to say with you. Okay, so that's how I'm going to handle it. I'm going to start with Nate, I'm going to do Hardpoint, Aggroed, and then Chatter, and then we'll wrap it up. It's going to be a shorter video, but there is a ton to cover. So look, Nate came out and he talked about how he specifically talked about, like I just said a moment ago, the design of these legendary summoners is going to be from the ground up. And as much as you want to incorporate, as much as whether it's story, art, color, lore, all of it, they want to hear from you. It really is going to be a collaborative experience. And so, to the extent that you're capable and willing to bring constructive ideas to the table, I think they're really, really about it. So that's kind of really cool. I can't wait to see what those are going to look like. And then this is actually an Aggroed point, but it's directly related, so I'm going to cover it now. Aggroed said about the legendary summoners that they would be released toward the end of the airdrops. They are going to be among the airdrop cards that we get from the Chaos Legion series. but they're going to be released toward the end of the airdrop series. Why? Because it's going to take a lot of time to collaborate with a number of different um, creators and get to a place where where they feel confident, with um, with what's being created. And so what you see on the screen here is some of the artwork that Nate shared today also. So that's going to be toward the end of the airdrops, but we don't exactly have a hard fast date on it. It won't. He did say that it's unlikely any of them will be in the first three, which is to say they pretty much have the first three set in stone. So we could start seeing these if one of the if one of the collaborators that won the top 6 roles had a really clear idea and it flowed smoothly, and Splinterlands, everything, the whole collaboration went without a hitch. It could possibly be the 4th or 5th kind of release of the airdrops, but far more likely they're going to be toward the end, because it's going to take weeks and weeks for these minds to come together and the vision to kind of get hammered out. So with that in mind, and the creation and card design in mind, I wanted to cover some of the artwork that you see here in front of you from the new leaks that Nate has released. These are some of the new monsters, whether they're monsters or summoners, that we learned about today in the town hall. And this one here looks amazing. I love this. This was like a sand dragon, I think he called it, and desert dragon. That's right, desert dragon. I can see the title on my screen here. And let's see, where is my... I know there's a way to do them all. There it is. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So this guy here was they call him the Disintegrator, and he was described as having like partial mechanical body, obviously, and organic body. And I think the art looks amazing. I think this card looks, and this is a common card. This thing to me looks like a legendary monster, but it isn't. It's a common card, so that's crazy. I'm excited to see more of that. Let's see. General Sloan here. I think this was the summoner, if I recall correctly, from the white team. And Nate speaks in such code, so I don't know exactly what to make of it, but there was talk about how white is doing more dangerous things with magic and with something with time, and it's just like winks and nods pointing at what could be, but it's pretty exciting stuff nonetheless. This is one of the animations. This guy's a werewolf that has his werewolf powers in control, and this animation brings me to a point that Nate Rose, he said, the whole animation side of things is actually something he's just working on as like a pet project. It's going to be added to the game when it's ready, and he plans to have 4 different animations for each monster card. It'll be stationary, or like waiting to act as one phase, action, such as you see here. This is an attack, death, and victory. And so there'll be 4 different animations that can be activated for any monster at any time. This one, I think this was a legendary fiend. Now the fiends are the 0 cost mana cards that are going to be released, 1 for every splinter. No, never mind, this was not the fiend. I know that because the fiend for white, where's the fiend? There it is. So this is the fiend for white. And so fiends are going to be 0 cost mana cards. Fury's Chicken, think Fury's Chicken, right? 0 cost, amazing meat shield, stick it in there anywhere. You get it, you just got 1 more space to fill, and you go ahead and you got that 0 cost mana card to just drop in there. This one here is going to be the white fiend, and that's the terminology they're using to refer to those 0 cost mana cards. This one's called the Soul Fiend, and it was described as doing something kind of evil with life magic, which is interesting because when you think about the lore of life, or of the life team, I usually think of like angelic, healing, protective, good, altruistic. Those are some words that come to mind. And then death, you think the opposite, right? Well, this one is doing something funky with souls. Either it's like stealing them, or it's, harnessing them to maybe, protect its allies, which is, of course, restorative and healing in nature, but it's also, almost destructive or poisonous in a sense towards the enemy at least. I like the idea. I'm also super excited about these fiends. I think these fiends are going to be an opportunity that we're all going to need to strike hard and fast on. You're going to want those zero cost mana cards for your deck, just like everybody wants the chicken. And these are legendary, so they're going to have extra abilities that definitely make it better than, like, let's say, a Furious Chicken. I believe this was a summoner for the white team, and I love this art. It was called like the Time Clock. Oh, it's Time Mage. Yeah, I don't know what that could mean, but is she going to be able to reverse? Is it going to be something like Resurrect, where when a monster dies, it comes back because it like rewinds time and it start the previous hit points it had a moment before that? I guess that would just be like a Resurrect summoner. But what else could you do that was time based? It's called the Time Mage, so clearly something, you know. And some amazing desktop images. This one, I love this dragon. This was a legendary dragon. I love how close that is to his eye. That's the desert dragon. This is the Prismologist wallpaper. She was I believe, a life monster. There's that Time Mage, and I don't know who he is, but definitely a cool desktop image. I really like this clock, especially since you guys know time and attention, that's my thing. This is a legendary monster also, and Agrod was explaining, the symbolism on his body is like arcane in nature, like magic in nature. So this guy's very physically strong and will have melee characteristics, but then also has some sort of magic component, which is really cool. There's the card version of him. So there's some amazing artwork this week. That's all Nate. And quickly, Hardpoint talked about SPS, auto claim, and stake being a thing that they're aiming at. So instead of having to log in all the time to just auto manually click claim my SPS for the day, why not just make it do it on itself and not just claim it, but maybe you could set it to claim and stake, so you can just avoid that. I know I forget. Days will go by and I log in and I've got 1,000 SPS that are just sitting there doing nothing. He also talked about some metrics. He said 11 to 12 million battles per day, which is crazy, because he also mentioned, last summer we were talking 10,000 daily active players. Now we're over 400, 500,000. The insanity of the growth is just, as Hardpoint points out, it's like we're on our way past the moon to the Mars, which is crazy. Super exciting. They talked about land. I didn't mention this was actually under Nate. Land. He talked about how the vision for land. If you go back and listen to Nate, he was in the first 15 minutes of the AMA, 20 minutes of the AMA, and you listen to him talk about land, and tell me you don't get excited during that. He's like, it's going to be immersive. Whether you own it or not, you're going to walk through it to get to the battlefield. You're going to explore it. It's going to be, it sounds interactive. Whether you own it or not, we're all going to be enjoying and benefiting from it. I'm pumped for it. I know that, when we see what that becomes, I think we're going to be blown away by how great it is. And he also said later that the assets themselves were largely done for land, but that they need more communication with the dev side. So, that'll be the next big thing after Chaos Legion. Going back to Hardpoint, one last thing. They're working on collecting and storing and sorting data that will help us with taxes at tax time. Not that they're going to provide sort of an interface to access all that, but they want to collect the data in a meaningful way so that other third parties can extract that for you. Then quickly, Agrod talked about the self-design the legendary summoners. He talked about how collaborative that would be. He talked about how that will be toward the end of the airdrops, due to the collaborative nature. And lastly, Chatter talked about how the esports league is like, he's setting sights on that, and esports sounds really amazing. There's visions for a year-long tournament that would be ongoing and then lead into like a playoff type top 32 end of the year huge tournament with gigantic cash prizes. I mean, guys, if you're not excited about Splinterlands, you're not paying attention to it. And so I strongly encourage you, if you watch the video to the end of the video here, that you like and subscribe because we cover Splinterlands all day, every day. And I appreciate you guys' time and attention. And thanks, guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.